Welcome. Welcome to Touching the Edge. Welcome to this new series on emotional mastery and recognizing that through emotional mastery we develop a self-compassion. A self-compassion that then leads itself into kindness. And so we want to recognize that emotional mastery is about us having a more compassionate relationship with our own experience. Really, our challenge with our emotions is really our challenges with our childhood experience. We develop emotions that kind of mimic what we experience as children. And so we want to soften that experience. We want to find a relationship to allow ourselves to be exactly who we are without being thrown into a wormhole that ends up with us being stuck in a cavern of depression or anxiety. We find that by being larger than the situation, being larger than life, that allows us to step into a different relationship with these emotions. And then they become part of a healing process, something that we're meant to digest and learn about so that we can actually become more effectively our real and authentic selves. So thank you so much for joining, and I'm asking you to step into an active process of greater emotional mastery and doing it in different ways. Remember what Carlos Castaneda talked about when he talked about the petty dictator. When we deal with a difficult person or maybe a difficult situation, maybe a health issue, the petty dictator might even be an emotional experience. And so that dictator is oppressive, and we find ourselves reacting to that dictator. But if we can stay responsive, if we can remember it's not about this little difficulty, it's about something bigger than that, we can use this situation to propel us to this more responsive path, an element that's in concert and in harmony with our actual mission in life. And so one of those ways I want to suggest is finding a way to be more patient with us, with ourselves, when we are not finding something that we like. I want to suggest that you develop a template right now that allows you to be a little bit easier on yourself when something is lost. Realizing that when you find a way to handle losing small details more effectively, it actually has an effect on you finding your path through life. So when you lose something, just try this out. First of all, I'm asking you to be confident and move about whatever it is that you're doing as though that you are going to find it in the flow. If you can't find your keys, continue to do those other elements that you need to do in order to get ready to leave. Find all the other details, the bag that you might need, all the different tools or whatever that you need to go on this particular journey. And as you're going about your business, preparing to do whatever you need to do, keep your eyes open. And when you keep your eyes open without stepping into that anxiety state, very often you will find what you're looking for just popping up. Sometimes you'll find it in an area that you obviously looked in. But by changing your relationship to anxiety about not being able to find it, you change a sort of subliminal relationship to catastrophizing. Now, here's another aspect that I'm asking you to give it a try. As you're going and as you're looking, I'm asking you to say out loud 5 different ways you will feel when you find this element. Actually visualize your keys. You know what they look like. You can probably visualize them right now. And as you are visualizing your keys, ask yourself, how will I feel when I find these keys? One way is I'll feel a great sense of relief. I'll feel a great sense of relief and feel like I can make it to this appointment on time. I will realize that as I find these keys, that by asking these questions, I'm stepping into the practice of manifestation. I am manifesting those keys. By focusing on these keys in a way that connects me to finding them rather than having them be lost, they actually come to me. I'm being drawn to them. By focusing on finding these keys and speaking it out loud, I'm finding a way to be more kind and more patient with myself. I'm not caught up in negative ideas or thoughts. As I am focusing on these keys and asking myself how I will feel, I will realize that this is an active relationship to greater self-mastery, greater mastery of my emotions. As I am focusing on the keys and asking myself how I will feel, I will realize that I'm stepping into a contentment, realizing that finding these keys is not the measure of my worth. So these are simple elements. Develop simple templates that you can activate when regular things happen that allow you to move through those more easily with less internal friction, and you will step into a greater degree of self-mastery. So thank you for joining. Thank you for being part of this relationship to finding a relationship with our emotions that works for us rather than oppresses us. I'm going to ring the bell. Here we go. Emotional mastery means that we can deal with elements like social anxiety and still be bigger than this situation. It's okay. We are perfect just as we are. I bring my hands together and I bow to you. Namaste.